Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to an Infaernum gameplay video, but with a difference. This is a raw video. This is it wasn't meant for public viewing. This is a training sort of practice video. Sometimes when I learn or sort of test a game, I will record myself and then go and review the video afterwards, checking for whether I've done the rules correctly, whether the examples that I've used are the best, sort of in the point of the viewer. Things like layout, all these sort of things I will sort of record during my prep, during my learning of the game. And this is actually one of those videos. That's why I'm calling it a raw playthrough. But yes, this is one of the settings and one of the games that I did as I was learning Infaernum. And I had just finished reading this book here, Assassin's Creed Renaissance. Really good book. I mean, if you enjoy the games, you should try the novels. They're actually quite interesting. But yeah, so this is a playthrough of the sort of Assassin's Creed Renaissance setting. But like I say, it's very raw. There will be times where maybe the volume isn't right because maybe I'm not close enough to the microphone. There will be times when I may not speak properly because, again, this was for training purposes, not necessarily for uploading purposes. But I think that this is something that you guys will enjoy. It has my dice god curse in full view, and it kind of goes through the basics of the game, the basic mechanics, and I've included character creation and day one. So again, hopefully you guys will enjoy this. Like I say, it wasn't meant for public viewing, so it's not as polished maybe as the videos that I normally upload, but I think it's something that's still worthy of being watched. So I hope you guys enjoy. I have edited it to an extent, so I've got rid of all the colorful language that I sometimes use when I'm not doing it for public viewing. I've also edited out where there's noise, things like lorries, cars, bikes going past, cats in the background, things like that. So, but it's minimal. This is very much a raw kind of video. So, hope you enjoy. This is Assassin's Creed Infaernum. Sort of northern to central Italy. So the premise is that Ezio, who is the assassin, has chased Rodrigo, or found Rodrigo the Pope in Rome. He's trying to open the vault using the apple. Now in the book, Ezio basically stops him and opens the vault himself and kind of interacts with the gods and figures out what needs to be done. But maybe in this game of Infaernum, maybe Ezio didn't get there in time, and maybe the Pope, I think his name is Rodrigo, maybe he actually manages to open the vault, go inside, and completely screws it up and basically opens a rift to hell. That's the idea for this. So I'm going to be rolling up all the random things to start with, not torments, for these things. And then we'll take it from there. But this is going to be like a learning exercise as well, but maybe I can use this as as an example. Right, so we are playing in, I would say that we're actually in Rome as all hell breaks loose, literally. Ezio has just arrived. Of course, I don't know such a thing. Maybe I am part of the Vatican staff, possibly, when all hell breaks loose. Let's see how it goes. Right. 6 days to create the world, 6 days to obliterate it. Right, first thing we need to do is, who are you? We're going to be rolling 3d6. That's not a good start, is it? Now, I do have alteration moves, 6, so I can actually modify dice by up to 6 pips during creation. So I mean, potentially I could change this to a 6 if I wanted, but I'll be spending 5 of my alteration moves. What's this giving me? A 6. Just a lunatic in the eyes of the beholder. Maybe we're one of the people who can sort of see spirits, and people always think us a little bit strange, a little bit weird, a little bit of a crazy person because we kind of see what others can't. So maybe we've been able to see sort of spirits, because in the base game you have the fallen ones, which are like the demons kind of thing. But in the supplements you have things like spirits, which you can use to sort of generate benefits. So maybe that's the case. Maybe I'm like a medium, but I'm actually sort of part of the church. So we rolled a 6. The beholder. Let's come up with a random name. Let's think. I will call myself. Well, let's call myself Brother. I'm seeing myself as part of the cloth gang. Father Ficini. No, I do. Ficino. Okay. So that's who I am. Next thing we need to do is, what are you better than most people at? Okay. We haven't used any of our. Actually, I'll use this. I haven't used any of my alteration moves just yet. We get a 4, 7, 8. What am I better at than most people? Making a good first impression. Again, that doesn't fit my first thing. Okay, 7 would give me finding ways and preventing others from finding you. A 9, moving intensely with unusual reflexes. I think I'm going to use one of my alteration moves to bring it down 1 point. So that makes it a 7. So this is my fortune. So we get a 7. Finding ways and preventing others from finding you. So I'm thinking that this could be when I'm trying to sort of hide or trying to escape, trying to sneak. I'm pretty good at kind of staying out of people's eyes. People don't tend to notice me. I'm thinking for my fortune. Right, what are you worse than most people at? This is going to be my misfortune. We get 11, 13. What's 13? Acting fast. So I'm really bad at acting fast. Negotiating. Actually, negotiating could be pretty good because people find me very strange. They find it very hard to sort of negotiate with me. How many other things have I got to do? What equipment and blessing? So you don't want to use up all my alteration moves in case I want to use it on those things. So at the moment I've got 13. Negotiating, acting first. Let's use 1 point, and I'm gonna make it 12. So I'm pretty bad at negotiating. So when I'm dealing with others, trying to get something, I'm not so good, and that can actually affect the 3d6 roll when I try to do things and I'm not sure what happens. If it's relating to negotiating, there can be problems. If it's relating to hiding or sneaking, it can give me actually benefits. All right, so that's that. What's next? What equipment do you carry? So we don't, as the apocalypse basically starts, we don't have time to go to the shops and buy stuff. We're literally running for our lives. So we're literally just grabbing the nearest thing and what's on us at the time. So this is going to go down here in terms of junk. So what 3 things? Now we're going to be rolling 3d6, but three things are under each category. So, oh, hello. 18. A crown of thorns, some candles, and a parchment with an engraving. Now, what is the engraving of? Should I roll, or should I just roll when it's necessary? And I think it's a good idea to see what it is now. So what I'm going to do is actually, to help me figure out what this engraving is, I'm actually going to be rolling for 2 random words, a verb and a noun. So we get a 4. Oh, should be using 2 different colours, shouldn't I? So let's do this. Red, black. 2, 6. Don't heal. And oops. 4, 6. Wealth. Heal and wealth. Doesn't make sense. Let's re-roll the second one again. 4, 4. Faith. Okay, so maybe it is I can pray or do a ritual to heal. Not a curse, but maybe a torment. So that's the equipment, and next is our blessing. Speaking of blessings, what is going to be our blessing? Now, the blessing is like something special. It can be something spiritual, something magical, something powerful. What are we going to get? And this is the last thing, so I can actually use all my points on this if I want to. We get 4, 5, 6, 7. A cross capable of turning fallen ones. Yeah, I'm pretty much keeping that. So my crucifix, my cross, actually has the power. If I can roll miracles, which is a 6, when I do the 3d6 rolls, I actually have the power to turn fallen ones. Yeah, turn undead. Fallen ones. Now this isn't going to affect spirits, colossus, or anything like that. All right, so we don't actually need any of those points, but I'll keep that here for omens. What else? Actually, should I keep 3 of the same colour, or should I use 3 different colours? Doesn't really matter, does it? But I think I'll use 3 different colours, just because. Right, that is that done. So we've basically got our starting character. What I can do now is come up with a bit of story about who they are, where they are when the apocalypse happens. And then we can actually start the game. Yeah, we can start with day 1 and see what happens. Right, but let's come up with a little bit of a story first. So maybe my character, Brother Ficino, maybe in the past he sort of got the attention of the church because he was able to see spirits. They were kind of ready to accuse him of heresy and all that sort of stuff until he managed to give certain information that he learned from spirits regarding maybe somebody senior in his parish, maybe the bishop of the sort of local churches, something that actually saved their life. So even though he kind of did that, they're very hesitant to accept him as he is. So what they basically did was they sent him to the Vatican, hoping that they could help. Again, while he was there, he managed to benefit the Vatican, the church, in certain ways due to some of his messages, but they still don't trust him. So essentially he is kept out of sight, out of mind, away from anyone who is aware of his abilities. So he's sort of kept within the sort of inner Vatican, in sort of the inner chambers, doing things like cleaning, preparing food. He's basically not allowed to go outside of that sort of inner chambers. He's not allowed to leave. He's not allowed to converse. He's not allowed, like I say, he's not allowed to even converse with like the normal priesthood. He's kind of like a hidden secret, like a guilty secret. But he has been of benefit in the past. That's why he hasn't been executed for heresy kind of thing. So that's linking with the lunatic. He's always been able to sort of, obviously when he's not talking about spirits and whatever, he's always been able to sort of be hidden in plain view. Nobody really sort of takes any notice of him. He has a plain appearance, plain sort of personality. He's not very good verbally. He tends to get into trouble when trying to negotiate or trying to convince people, which is why the words of the spirits before kind of helped him to sort of get his messages across. But on a day-to-day basis, he's very bad sort of talking to people. He gets very tongue-tied. So he's taking advantage of a lot. But he is very good at sort of hiding in the shadows or sort of disappearing when people aren't looking, kind of thing. Recently, he has found out that his cross has been acting weirdly. His crucifix that he hangs around his neck, his cross, it seems to be weird. It's something that his father gave to him when he was very young. It's been in the family for a very long time. But his father said to him that it would protect him in the days to come. Not too sure exactly what his father meant by that, but in recent days, the cross seems to be getting hotter and hotter. And then when the explosion happened in the midst of the Vatican, when the rift to hell opened, the crucifix has kept at bay all of the demons that have emerged. In this case, the demons are looking like the sort of Christian demons. Not necessarily sort of bestial in nature, more like dark angelic. So where angels are bright and light and white and yellow, these things are beautiful in their own way, but very dark in nature. They're hideous, but sensual at the same time. Think kind of Slanesh, but not quite as bestial as Slanesh. So yeah, that's the background for this guy. He's where the hell has he got a crown of thorns from? Maybe when the explosion happened and the portal to hell opened, maybe he was standing near a statue that actually had like a crown of thorns on the head of the Jesus statue, and it sort of fell to the ground, and he just picked it up because it was very nearby when he ran out of the chamber. Candles, maybe he was actually placing candles in the candle holders and lighting them at the time, so he still has some of those in his pocket. And the parchment with an engraving. Okay, so maybe when the explosion happened, the statue that had the crown of thorns on it actually broke, but hidden inside was this parchment in a little sort of hollow area within the statue. There was this parchment. It seems to have some kind of engraving, and in the back of his mind, Brother Ficino kind of thinks that this could be used to heal the sick. It's just an impression, a feeling that he has. He doesn't know for certain, but that's that'll do. That'll do for the background. So at the moment we have no dooms, we have no curse, we have no torments, but we are ready to go from day one. If you actually start playing the game, for every day you have to roll, see how many omens you get. So we have 5, so I'm actually getting 6 omens for this day. Omens can be used to re-roll dice, but also to reduce the number of dooms that you take. So for example, if I rolled a 1, 1, 4, for example, the 4 gives me a deed. In other words, I succeed in what I'm doing, but the 2 dooms basically give me 2 negative outcomes. Now, 2 serious problems with the success. Now, I will still get like 2 torments, or maybe 1 major torment because of the 2 dooms, but I can actually use 1 omen to reduce the number of dooms I take. So I'll only mark 1 doom here instead of 2. I will still get the torment, it will still have an effect in terms of what happens, but it won't actually count as being marked down on here, because again, remember, 6 dooms, you get cursed. You meet the horseman. But we actually have 6 for today, and this is rolled every day on here to find out how many omens you get for the day. Now, these omens are yeah, it's shared by the group's characters. So if you're playing solo, fine, it's just for you. But if you're playing in a group, these are to be shared amongst all members. So makes it a bit harder. Right. Day 1, let's see what it says. Okay, the eclipse erased the sun from the sky, earthquakes announced the fall of the fortress, trumpets cried, And the walls fell, the fallen ones arose from the depths and attacked the last bastion. The last bastion in my story is the Vatican. Nearly everyone died except for you and those who have been by your side since the beginning of the Great Escape. Sneak through the wilderness until you arrive at any safe place that hasn't been touched by this chaos yet. So, the first day, I think, is basically getting out of this immediate area and finding somewhere to sort of catch our breath. I think that's going to be the first day. Right, among those who are at your side, who value strength, skill and wisdom. I'm playing solo, so I don't need to do that, I don't think. Okay, during this day and the next ones, or the following ones, search for clues about the promised land and above all survive. Okay, so what was the last bastion of humanity like? Yeah, here's the Vatican. Corrupt and all that sort of stuff as usual. What are the fallen ones like and what can they do? Again, I'm thinking in terms of dark angels, not necessarily bestial demons, but I'm thinking of dark angels. So they can fly, they can look into your soul, they can seduce, beguile, things like that, yeah? Where are you? I am currently still in the inner sort of sanctum, the inner buildings of the Vatican, because that's where I've been. I'm not allowed to go out of here, but now of course I am. Where are you going to? Well, first I want to escape the Vatican, get out into Rome itself. So maybe I can find somewhere to hide and find out what the hell to do in Rome. I've got more chance of finding out information there and to find somewhere there than actually within the Vatican itself. So that's actually going to be the first day, basically getting out of the Vatican. So how do I do that? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to roll 3d6, and this is going to kind of give me some information in terms of what happens. At the moment, I'm just trying to get out of the immediate vicinity, so I'm working my way through the corridors, through the sort of courtyards of the Vatican. But I'm going to roll 3d6 to kind of tell me, and to help me to generate the story about how that goes. So I'm rolling. Oh, God. Oh, no. Yeah. Now, do I want to use omens already? The thing is, it's a double doom and a 2. A 2 is a neutral event, so I don't necessarily succeed in what I'm doing. This is terrible. I've got no successes. I think I'm going to use some of my omens to re-roll. Do I want to? The thing is, I'm going to get 2 torments. Maybe I twist my ankle. Maybe I concuss myself slightly. Torments can be removed or reduced. Where is it? You can ease a torment if you obtain at least a deed or trying to deal with the negative effect. Or if you get a miracle, it is potential for you to actually get rid of it. But I could, like I said, I'm going to have 2 torments, which I'm going to have to try and get rid of. But I'm not succeeding at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn 1 omen. I'm going to re-roll 1 of the dice. 4. Okay, so I do get a success now. So do I want to get rid of the other? I mean, I'm trying to escape, so could potentially be linked with my fortune. If that's the case, every 6 basically knocks away 1. So if I'd rolled a 1-1-6 and it is linked with my fortune, basically the 6 basically makes the 1 ignored. I think I'm going to re-roll the other one. I don't want to get dooms quite so early. I've got a 3. All right, so a 3 is a neutral. Okay, so I get 2 neutral and I get 1 deed, which means I succeed. So I'm trying to move out of the inner area of the Vatican. I'm trying to kind of avoid the attention of the fallen ones who have emerged and who are in the area. There's been a couple of times where fallen ones have looked in our direction, but luckily I have been able to avoid their suspicions. I have been able to avoid them, and I have managed to make it to the outer buildings of the Vatican, the sort of areas that are more open to the public, where people come to pray, like the outer churches and stuff. So that's what's happened so far. Oh, but I do get the torments, don't I? So Torments, I would take a twisted ankle and maybe a bleeding arm. If I'm sort of scrambling through the rubble, I've managed to twist my ankle and I have actually cut my arm as I was, again, going through the rubble. The rubble made my arm bleed. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, the twisted ankle is going to give me what is the same as a misfortune when I'm trying to move, and the bleeding arm is going to maybe potentially help them to find me. Maybe they can smell the blood. So I do need to try to solve both these problems here. So first of all, I'm going to try and not necessarily heal, but maybe to sort of splint and sort of bind up my ankle to restrict its movement, and at least so I can sort of step on it. So what do I get for this? Got another tomb. No, I did get 2 tombs last time, which gave me the torments, but oh my god, so many dooms, this isn't funny. But I do have a miracle. Now, a miracle can be used to completely get rid of the twisted ankle. 3 is a neutral event, a 1 is a doom. Oh god, so many 1s. And every time you get a 1, there's a torment as well, isn't it? A doom may impose a torment on a character. If I didn't get a miracle, maybe I could say that I've caused additional damage, kind of thing. But I am gonna get. I'm not gonna reroll. I do get 1 doom. I'm not gonna give myself a torment for this, and the 6 does get rid of my twisted ankle. So maybe it wasn't actually a twisted ankle. Maybe it was a slightly dislocated bone within the foot or the ankle area. And as I was splinting and binding it, maybe the bone got put into place, which caused a lot of pain. Maybe that's the sort of negative effect, almost making me pass out. Or maybe it does make me pass out for a very short period of time. But the noise within the Vatican kind of wakes me up fairly quickly. So I'm not in any dangerous position, but I do manage to fix the ankle. Now, I also need to sort out my bleeding arm, I think, because otherwise it could, like sharks, yeah? I'm thinking the fallen ones are a bit like sharks, they can scent blood. So, do I want to stay in the same place? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. Is this place still safe? I'm thinking in terms of staying here. A 5. Yes, it is still safe. Right, so I can actually stay here and I can try and do my bleeding arm again. But as you saw just now, there is a risk of getting more dooms and torments. But, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, I'm going to use one of my... I'm on 3 now, and I'm going to re-roll one of my dice. Okay. So I'm going to give myself another doom, but I'm only going to give myself 1 torment, not 2. So I'm dealing with my bleeding arm. As I'm staying here and dealing with my bleeding arm, I do get 2 deeds. Now, with a deed, I can ease it. Again, torments behave like misfortunes, in that if you're doing a roll which has a link to a misfortune, there's a chance one can cancel 6s. I mean, we had that just now with a 6 and a 1, but it wasn't something that I think was relevant to my fortune or my misfortune. Actually, would it have been relevant to the torment? Can't remember. Okay, forget it. Right, so we managed to patch up my arm, stop the bleeding, put a big sort of bandage around it made from some strips of cloth. But as as I'm sort of getting up to leave the area, my movements jar loose a piece of masonry from the top and from the ceiling, and it crashes down onto my head, giving me a little bit of a concussion. And I've got 2 dooms already. It's only day 1. And I've used half my omens. Right, I am going to... Okay, so I'm currently in the outer buildings of the Vatican. I'm going to try and escape. Maybe I try and go through one of the sort of large church areas, one of the large sort of seating areas outside, go through there and sort of get to the main door, and then look out on the city of Rome, or the sort of outer area, the outside area of the Vatican, and see what's going on. So, what's going to happen? I don't believe this. All right, so we get 2 deeds and a doom. All right, so we successfully get out to the outside of the Vatican. We dodge a couple of pieces of sort of falling rocks and masonry as we make our way out. But as we get to the doorway, a fallen one comes through the door at the same time. Now I'm thinking that this could be a challenge, but I want to check first. Yeah, because a cross capable of turning fallen one. So maybe if I'm in combat with a fallen one, maybe that can use a miracle to automatically blat the thing. Right, so we are now going to be doing a challenge. Oh, we got a doom, didn't we? Don't want to reroll the doom? No. 3 dooms. Jesus. And another torment. Maybe I sort of, as I get to the door, as I'm just about to get to the door opens, the fallen one sort of comes through. I sort of stagger and fall over one of the pews, or one of the broken pews in the process, and maybe part of the wood from the pew actually goes through my leg. So I've got another bleeding leg. All right. So we're doing combat now. For a challenge, we have to designate the difficulty of the challenge. I think normally it's just a D6. D6, right. So the challenge is going to be 3. So I'll put that up here, the 3. Right, now, if I get a miracle, I can actually turn the thing. But otherwise I'm going to try and get rid of the challenge. A deed reduces it by 1, a miracle reduces it by 2. So we're going to basically fend off and defend ourselves against this fallen one, sort of trying to sort of pray at the same time, pray and sort of use my cross as a weapon against, not as a weapon, but like as a shield against the fallen one. So I really need a 6 for this. Oh my word, look at that. I got a 666. Oh no, that's death. Oh no. Oh, I've got to burn all my omens. No. Oh no. Okay, so I've got to burn all my omens. I've got no omens left for the day. But I'm not dead. But it's like a major miracle. Basically, I hold my cross in front of me as I'm sort of prostrate against this pew with a piece of wood going through my leg, and I'm on the ground sort of holding myself up by one arm kind of thing, and the fallen one's stalking towards me, sort of victory in his eyes. He knows that I'm helpless against him, and he's savouring the fear, he's savouring, you know, the imminent kill. But I hold up my cross in front of me, and a blast of white light streams from the cross into the fallen one, and he just disintegrates, like burns with the holy light. Yeah, that works. Oh my God. Day 1 dead. Luckily I had enough omens left. All right. So we managed to overcome the fallen one. He's now ashes. I can get up, but I've still, I've got 2 torments. I've got concussion and a bleeding leg. Dang it. All right. So this is definitely not a safe place to stay. So what I'm going to do is maybe, okay, I'm going to look outside. I'm going to look outside through the doors where the fallen one was. I'm going to look outside and see if I can spot anywhere that could be safer than this place. Is there anywhere? No. Nuts. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try and run across the courtyard into the opposite buildings, which would, maybe this would count as being Rome and not the Vatican. So I'm going to run across the courtyard. I'm got concussion and a bleeding leg, so I'm thinking that those could consider this to be a misfortune roll. Yeah. So any ones I get, cancel sixes. Ugh. Something wrong with this. I've got no omens left, have I? Well, 5 dooms already. 2 more torments. Okay, so maybe as I'm running, I tear the bleeding leg, so it becomes even worse. Torn leg muscles, and the other one, maybe the concussion makes me fall over, and I also get a black eye, which is going to affect my depth perception. And a 2, what's a 2? Neutral. So okay, so we're not quite across the courtyard yet. We're sort of halfway across when this happens. I need to get somewhere so I can try and use my parchment. All right, so we've got to try and run the remaining distance to the other buildings. Hopefully no other fall. I mean, in terms of spotting me, the fortune is going to help me, but I've got so many torments. Oh, okay, that's good. A 5, a 5, and a 6. So, yeah, we get across absolutely no problems whatsoever. I've got 2 deeds, and I got... Okay, so I can actually expand this scene. So I can use a deed to get all the way across. I basically smashed through the door. Luckily, it wasn't locked, but I smashed through the door into this sort of habitat, this sort of housing, this sort of house area. I shuffle my way into the corner and hoping that nobody saw me, which they didn't, and I'm going to use the miracle to fix one of my things. Now, what's the biggest problem at the moment? The black eye, depth perception. Okay, so torn leg muscles is hindering my movement. Bleeding leg is hindering my movement, but also attracting fallen ones. The concussion's making me dizzy. I'm thinking the bleeding leg is the priority, so I'm going to use this miracle. I'm going to try and again staunch the wounds. Maybe the binding that I put on there came off, so I'm going to rebind and my bleeding leg gets healed. Now I could have used a deed to reduce the effects, but I think it was more important to use these to get across the courtyard and basically hide in a corner where nobody could see me. Right, so we are now in this habitat. I've managed to bind up my leg. Is this place safe to stay for a little while longer? 3, no, I have to move. All right, so we're going to try and go through the back of the house, maybe try and find another house to go into. That's okay. Neutral and 2 deeds. So, okay, neutral. Maybe I notice, as I'm about to leave, I notice a fallen one walk past the house, past the sort of room where I'm sitting. Luckily, he didn't. He sniffs a little bit of the air. Maybe he can smell the residual blood that's in the air, but he carries on past. We go out the back of the house, go over the sort of fence, which sort of separates one house, sort of back garden, to the other house. We enter the other house, and I'm going to use a deed to reduce or to ease the torment. So, torn leg muscle. Right, so I'm going to use the deed on my torn leg muscle to basically bind it up so that maybe it doesn't count as a misfortune, but it still hinders my movement. Yeah? So maybe this has been eased a little bit. Right, so now I'm in another house.
we've got to try and get out of here, haven't we? Now I've got to think in terms of where I'm going to go. Where's going to be the promised land? I've got to find a safe place, but at the moment I've got no idea where the safe place is. Maybe that's going to be found on another day. Maybe at the moment I'm just trying to get as far away from the Vatican as possible. So maybe one more journey will actually get me far enough away so that the immediate danger is out of the question in terms of me reaching a point where I can be safe. So I think I'll do one more journey. And again, traveling. I've got a concussion, so basically that is going to cancel the missed miracle. I've got another doom, which means I've got 6, which means I'm screwed. And if any character accumulates 6 dooms on this day, the meeting with one of the horsemen will happen when the first of the 4 horsemen manifests. Okay, so day 2 is when the first horseman appears. Dang it. And I'm going to get a curse. But I've also got another torment. I'm rolling so many ones. So maybe my torn leg muscles are back to bad. Again, I don't think I need to do a torment every single time. But this has not been a good first day. Oh no, it's not been a good first day. I mean, I could try to use my parchment, but I'm going to need a miracle to make that work. And again, there's just so much chance of a 1 coming up when I roll these dice. Oh, this is not an easy game at all, especially when you roll ones like me. Right, this is the end of day 1. Basically, I get to a place, because I did get a deed, so I do get a success. I do get to a place which is sort of well within the sort of city of Rome, somewhere which is far enough away from the Vatican for me to actually take some rest and get my bearings and really try and figure out what the hell I'm doing. And that's going to be the end of day 1.